What up, Bugles? I want to welcome you to this video. In this episode of Unspoken Origin, we visit a wonderful world of mystical art and dark magic. Welcome to the Mignola and world of Hellboy. But before I start, please don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything and it means world to us. And also check out TikTok and Instagram. Okay, first of all, let's introduce Maestro himself. Mike Mignola began his career in 1980 by illustrating spots in the Comic Reader fanzine. His first published piece was in the Comic Reader issue 183 and a spot illustration of a Red Sonja. His first published front cover was the Comic Reader issue 196 in November 1981. 2 years later, he starts working as an inker at Marvel Comics on Daredevil and Power Man and Iron Fist, and later became the penciler on the titles such as The Incredible Hulk, Alpha Fight, and the Rocket Raccoon Limited series. As a rising star, he and his talents catches attention of others from the Big Two, and in 1987 he began working for DC Comics as well. He worked on many series as Phantom Stranger and World of Krypton. Mignola also drew covers for several Batman stories, including legendary Dark Knight Dark City and infamous Batman A Death in the Family. Yeah, I talk about an issue with a telephone vote for the death of the second Robin, Jason Todd. Fun fact, at the same time Mignola drew a cover, he naturally didn't know if Robin was going to live or die, so he was trying to draw him in a way which can be interpreted both ways, as a death or as a really badly hurt. He also said he wasn't giving a lot of thought to that cover and never imagined it would be such a big deal still all these years later. His most notable DC work was Gotham by Gaslight, which he illustrated. Story was written by Brian Augustine, and we visit the Victorian times, specifically year 1889, as Bruce Wayne is on a tour of Europe where he read about the London murders by Jack the Ripper. It is soon discovered that the Ripper has come to Gotham City, and Bruce, as a Batman, comes to stood up against the serial killer and protect his city. His second big Batman story, which he wrote this time, was Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. In this 3 issues miniseries, originally published between November 2000 and January 2001, Mignola opened a world and story full of many Lovecraft-inspired renditions of the both, the Dark Knight's friends and foes, including Green Arrow, Etrigan, Two-Face, Ra's al Ghul, and so on. In addition, the story's title is an allusion to Lovecraft's The Doom That Comes to Sarnath. And as we know, this genre and tone of stories fit Maestro Mignola best. But let's step back a little. In 1994, Dark Horse Comics released Hellboy Seed of Destruction, Mignola creators' own project. And beloved half-demon, or Cambion if you want, whose true name is Anon Unrama, was born. Hellboy was summoned from hell to earth as a baby by Nazi occultists, and despawning his hatred for the Third Reich. He appears in the ruins of Old Church in the Outer Hebrides in front of a team assembled by the Allied forces, among them Professor Trevor Bruttenholm, who formed the United States Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, also known as BPRD. In time, Hellboy grew to be a large, muscular, red-skinned devilman with a tail, horns, which he fells off, leaving behind circular stump on his forehead that resemble goggles, cleven hooves, and one oversized right hand made of stone, aka the right hand of doom. He started work for BPRD against dark forces, including Nazis and witches. In his job, Hellboy earns the title World's Greatest Paranormal Investigator, and also love of millions of fans in the whole world. Mignola in his Hellboy series dig really deep in folklore, pulp magazines, vintage adventures, Lovecraftian horror, and horror fiction. This series was collected in many formats, and I recommended the newest addition to their collected editions. And yes, I speak about as this beautiful monster-sized Hellboy, which collect the whole OG Hellboy series, plus Hellboy in a Hell storyline. Like I mentioned before, Hellboy won the hearts of millions of comic book readers worldwide and became extremely popular. So it was only logical we're gonna get his stories also in other forms. Most of us know live action movies. First, we get two of them with fantastic Ron Perlman as a Hellboy himself, and both Hellboy and Hellboy 2 The Golden Army was directed by one and only Guillermo del Toro. I absolutely love both these movies, and for me, they are just immortal classic. There even should be a third movie called Hellboy 3 Dark Worlds, in which we could see Hellboy as a father of twins, but unfortunately was cancelled due to the difficulty of funding the film, and the reboot would happen instead. I am talking about 2019's movie with David Harbour in the role of Hellboy. The film draws inspiration from storylines as Darkness Call, The Wild Hunt, The Storm on the Fury, and Hellboy in Mexico. Movie received most negative reviews from both fans and critics, and even director Neil Marshall called it the worst professional experience of his life due to creative control being taken from him by the producers. I confess, I still didn't watch this movie, but I certainly will. Someday. Fun fact. In July 2019, Perlman said that he would still love to finish the original trilogy with Del Toro, ignoring the reboot, and that he thought it could happen if financing could be found. So fingers crossed. There is also a few animated films. Sword of Storms and Blood of Iron are actually more faithful to source comic book material than live action movies. But on the other hand, characters was voiced by all actors from original Hellboy movies, which is great. Hellboy also appeared in several video games both as a main character, for example Hellboy Dogs of the Night, or recently released Hellboy Web of Weird, and also as a playable DLC character in fantastic Injustice 2 video game. And of course there are, I think, 14 Hellboy's novels as well. But let's get back to comic books. With extreme popularity of Hellboy and his world, next logical step was creating a spin-off series. First of them was Ape Sapien solo series in 1998. Ape, originally Langdon Everett Cole, a Victorian scientist and businessman who, after retrieving a strange jellyfish-like deity from an underwater ruin, performed an arcane ritual that ended with the creature's release and Cole being turned into an Ichthyosapien, humanoid with the characteristics of fish or amphibians. It was not written by Mike Mignola, but it did feature his Hellboy short story heads as a backup. Ape Sapien did not take off properly until a decade later in 2008's story The Drowning. Since then, it has several short stories, and beginning in 2013, it became an ongoing series with Scott Ellie as the lead writer with Mignola. Second spin-off was vigilante Lobster Johnson with his own 2 miniseries. Both of them, Ape and Johnson, was members of BPRD, organization founded by the United States and United Kingdom governments and charged with research the occult, paranormal and supernatural, and also defending against their dangers. And this organization gets also their own spin-off series, and this one might be the most important of all spin-offs because they get more than a few stories but whole epic series. It began in 2002 with a Hollow Earth story, which continued on from Hellboy Conqueror Worm. Beyond that followed a series of short stories designed to explore what a BPRD series could be. 2004's Plague of Frogs was the story that solidified what a series was and would set the direction for future books to come, and also ends the first cycle. Second cycle is called BPRD Hell on Earth, and whole stories are collected in 16 beautiful collected editions. Hellboy universe is still expanding till this day, as we can see in series as Frankenstein, in which he travels to the Hollow Earth, and miniseries Frankenstein Undone, which is a direct sequel to original Mary Shelley's novel. I also need to mention miniseries Sledgehammer 44, Rise of Black Fame, Rasputin, Voice of Dragon, and many more. Mignola ever revisit Hellboy's kids' years in a recent series, Young Hellboy, and I can tell you they are just a lot of fun. And this is it, Mike Mignola and the world of Hellboy. As you can see, this universe is still expanding, and I didn't think we will see the end of it in the near future. And that's fantastic if you ask me. If stories of Hellboy and other characters from this universe catch your attention, you can order books from it in our e-shop, comicsbugle.com. Your friendly neighborhood comic book shop in Europe. Except of great catalog of collected, deluxe and absolute editions, epic collections and omnibuses, we guarantee you eco-friendly Hulkproof packaging, free shipping in whole EU, an option to pre-order your comic book now and pay for it later. You can also split full price to 4 separate payments because we know how expensive these books can be. So check it out, comicsbugle.com. You can find direct links below this video. And that's all. Thank you so much for attention. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out any further videos. In our comment section, let us know what other topics would you like to see in our videos. And see ya, Bugles!